Have you ever wondered what it would be like to have trillions of dollars? Can you imagine buying anything you want, whenever you want? Well, there's one person who doesn't have to imagine: Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. But how does he spend all that money? Let's find out. Who is Mohammed bin Salman? First things first, let's talk about who Mohammed bin Salman is. He's a young prince from Saudi Arabia, only 35 years old. People often call him MBS for short. He's not just any prince. He's the crown prince, which means he'll be the king one day. He is super important in Saudi Arabia. He's the one making big decisions and trying to change things in his country. Where does all his money come from? Now, you might be wondering where Mohammed bin Salman gets all this money. Well, it comes from oil. Saudi Arabia has lots and lots of oil underground. They've been selling this oil for over 75 years, and it's made the royal family super rich. How rich? Well, people think the whole royal family has more than $2 trillion. That's a number so big it's hard to even think about. The fancy chateau. Let's start with one of his coolest purchases, a huge, fancy house in France called Chateau Louis XIV. This isn't just any house. It cost over $300 million. Can you believe that? It's so expensive that some people call it the world's priciest home. This chateau is like something out of a fairy tale. It has golden fountains, marble statues, and even a maze made of hedges in its big garden. Inside, it gets even cooler. There's a movie theater, a wine cellar, and get this, an aquarium with see-through walls in the moat. Imagine watching fish swim by while you're relaxing. The chateau has 10 bedrooms, which is more than enough for sleepovers with friends. It also has pools both inside and outside, so you can swim no matter the weather. There's even a library for quiet reading time. But the coolest part might be the special room for thinking and relaxing. It has a clear floor where you can see big fish swimming under your feet. The super yacht. He doesn't just like fancy houses. He also loves amazing boats. He bought a super yacht called Serene, and it's one of the biggest boats in the whole world. This boat is so big, it's like a floating palace. It's 439 feet long. That's longer than a football field. The Serene isn't just big, it's packed with cool stuff. It has a pool filled with salt water, like a little piece of the ocean. There's a giant hot tub for relaxing, and even a sauna where you can sit in warm steam. But the coolest part? It has a helipad. That means helicopters can land right on the boat. This yacht is so fancy. It has 6 floors. It has 7 pools, which means you'd never have to share if you didn't want to. There's a huge bathtub on the top deck where you can soak while looking at the ocean. And if you get thirsty, there's a bar where you can get drinks. The most expensive painting. Mohammed bin Salman doesn't just buy big things like houses and boats. He also likes art. He bought the most expensive painting ever sold. It's called Salvator Mundi, and it was painted by Leonardo da Vinci a long time ago. He paid $450 million for this painting. That's more money than most of us can even imagine. The funny thing is, no one knows where this painting is now. Some people think it might be on Mohammed bin Salman's yacht, while others think it's waiting to be shown in a museum. It's like a big, expensive mystery, the future city. Now, here's where things get interesting. Mohammed bin Salman isn't just buying things. He's building an entire city. This isn't just any city. It's a city of the future. He's calling it Neom, and it's going to cost $500 billion to build. That's even more than he paid for his painting. This city is going to be huge, 17 times bigger than London, and it's going to be super high-tech. He wants it to be even more advanced than Silicon Valley, which is where a lot of the top computer companies are. He also wants it to make more movies and shows than Hollywood. Neom sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie. There are plans for flying taxis, so people can zoom around in the air instead of driving on the roads. They want to make it rain by using special machines to create clouds. And get this, they're even thinking about having a giant fake moon to light up the city at night. In this futuristic city, homes might have robot maids to help clean up. There might be a theme park with robot dinosaurs, like Jurassic Park that come to life. And the beaches? Well, they're planning to make the sand glow in the dark. Can you imagine how cool that would look? The big party. Mohammed Bin Salman doesn't just spend money on things. He also throws amazing parties. One time, he had one of the biggest parties ever thrown by one person. He rented an entire island in the Maldives. This island is super fancy. Each house has its swimming pool and even its butler to help out. For this party, he flew in 150 beautiful women from all over the world. He even brought in famous singers and dancers to perform, like Pitbull and Jennifer Lopez. The party cost $50 million. That's more money than most will see in their whole lives. To keep the party a secret, Mohammed bin Salman didn't let the island workers bring smartphones. He gave them old-style phones instead. He even paid each worker an extra $5,000 just for helping with the party, changing his country. Mohammed bin Salman isn't just about spending money on fun things. He's also using his wealth and power to change things in Saudi Arabia. For example, he made it okay for women to drive cars. This might not seem like a big deal to us, but in Saudi Arabia, it was a huge change. He's also trying to make his country less dependent on oil money. That's why he's building NEOM. He wants to create new ways for Saudi Arabia to make money in the future. What we can learn, even though most people will never have as much money as Mohammed bin Salman, you can learn some things from how he spends it. He doesn't just buy fun stuff. He also invests in the future. Building NEOM is a way to create jobs and create new ideas and inventions that could provide value to lots of people. He also shows us that it's important to think big. His ideas for NEOM might seem crazy, but you need to dream big to make big changes happen. At the same time, having lots of money doesn't solve all problems. Even though he can buy almost anything, he still faces challenges from running his country and dealing with other world leaders that is, oh, there you have it. That's how Mohammed bin Salman spends his trillions. From fancy houses and huge yachts to expensive paintings and futuristic cities, he certainly knows how to spend big. But he's not just throwing money around. He's also trying to change his country and plan for the future. Share your thoughts below. What would you do if you had trillions of dollars? Would you buy a fancy house or a big yacht? Or would you try to build a city of the future? It's fun to imagine. Remember, you need to dream big to make big changes happen. You can achieve anything if you believe it is possible. Subscribe to become a trillionaire